Hello guys, so today I've gone Nikon. That's a word, isn't it? Gone Nikon in the way of an adapted 105 Nikon lens, back from early 90s probably, maybe 80s, 90s. Been adapted as an f1.8, fully manual. Got a little bit of a on the gearing, but it works. So yeah, all the apertures and everything works. That's good. A friend of mine gave it to me. He said, I've got a few old cameras and stuff to get rid of, and I said, oh, what have you got? And he gave me a couple of bodies which are dead, sadly. Batteries had been in there for so long, been on the shelf or whatever for years, and the batteries had exploded inside, killed all the connections and everything in the battery compartment, which is a shame. And kind of made them redundant really, so they're now paperweights, but the lenses still work. So I've got three. So I've got this one here, which is a 105 f1.8 prime, which is actually quite nice. So that's what I thought today. Let's take it back a notch. Sony A1, but only manual lens, so manual focus, manual aperture. I shoot fully manual most of the time anyway, so but what the Sonys do have, and all the Canons and Nikons do have now, they have peaking. So basically you can see via colour what's in and out of focus. Obviously you use your eyes as well, but I can also have set custom button 1 and it zooms in on sensor, so I can kind of see what's sharp and what's not, like within detail, which is really quite handy as well. So it makes it a lot faster and a bit more slick to get things in focus. Yeah, so you just have to learn to, you know, small adjustments on the focus and just learn how to get the best from it. So yeah, I don't know, I'm just going to wander up on the beach. I haven't got very long, so it's going to be a very short video, but I'll show you the photos later on through the video, and I'll talk about them a little bit. Probably shoot black and white because it's an old lens, and I think it'll suit it, especially down the beach. We've got the old groins and stuff as well. Haven't got any car keys in my pockets. There we go. So yeah, it's just mess around really. I might even do a photo shoot with this at some point. It just needs a bit of, yeah, there's a bit of grindiness there. Yeah, a little bit of stiffness, but it's an old lens, so it's done very well. It's been sitting in a cupboard for years as well, so it hasn't been used, which probably doesn't help. But anyway, I'm going to wander across the road now, have a quick snapperoo. And I'll show you the pictures at the end. There it goes. So it's quite a cool old lens really. It's got a built-in sunshade which you can push back. Works well. It's the moving stuff is a little bit of a challenge. So when the waves are coming in, I just took a photo of a bus. Even at f1.8, the peaking helps massively. So I can literally you know, get some really cool motion shots. So I'm going to photograph some of these shells here just for some details and just see. One, I don't know how close this lens will focus, but it looks about 1 foot. Or maybe, I think it's 1 foot. No, maybe close to 1 meter. Actually, yeah. Right guys, so here are a few of the photos that I took, and manual focus is not that hard. It does take a little bit of practice with some moving stuff, but when you've got things like this, you can just pre-focus on, like say, push custom 1, and then you've got your peaking as well. You can literally zoom in and, you know, adjust your focus on the go kind of thing. This bus here, for example, was doing 60 miles an hour or 55 miles an hour, shooting f1.8. and, you know, nailed the focus. Not too hard at all. If I actually zoomed in on the writing, you can see here the wave crashing over with being backlit by the sun. No real drama. The old lens does have a bit of vignetting, and it does look like a bit more of a film look, especially this shot here. Actually, it definitely looks more, the colours and everything just look a little bit different. I haven't adjusted these at all, literally straight out the camera. So if I was to utilise the 135G Master, for example, or the Sony 85mm lens or lenses, they would look different. The colours would have been probably clinically better. These actually look really nice. You know, just the way it was, really. It was quite nice to see, and just slowed me down a little bit. As you can see, I was just walking around the beach, snapping away, looking at things like the shells for detail. You can see nice and sharp. You know, nothing wrong with the shots. You know, they're not perfect, but as soon as you put it into harsh lighting, like the sun behind, or you know, the sun coming from one side, it was, you could see the flaws in the lens. But then it's an old lens, so, you know, it just gives it a little bit of different character, and it's quite nice just to snap away. This shot here, f8 of the air ambulance there, sharp on it. You can read it if you zoom right in, but obviously I'm not going to on here. But yeah, worked quite well. But then the shot after, the sun appeared through the clouds and did this, quite remarkably, really, and it's just quite cool at the same time. But I've never seen anything like it. A big beam of light coming through the cloud there. I did a 1/4 of a second handheld shutter there, so you got a little bit of wave movement, and then sort of moved on to the slow motion video. So it performed pretty well. I mean, it is a free lens at the end of the day. I had to buy an adapter for it, but as you can see, it worked well. It's pretty sharp. You can see some of the colour fringing, and there's a bit of vignetting and stuff going on, but colour fringing like coming off in certain situations where you get a little bit of purple around the whites and the edges of things. That's just down to the way the coatings aren't on that lens, or the way it was not designed for digital sensors, basically. But still performs really nicely, and actually gives it a really nice look. You know, so 240 frames a second, and then slowed or sped up depending on what I was doing. But you know, just worked really nicely. So let me know what you think in the comments below. Have you got a lens like this? Look on eBay. There's plenty around, and they're not that expensive. Or if you get given one, you can adapt it yourself. So shooting a bit of video in manual obviously is interesting. So I've stopped down to like f4 just to give it a bit of depth, and I'm using the peaking, so custom button 1, zoom in, hopefully get the focus about right, and let it do its thing. Obviously it's difficult to well, a little bit of practice, obviously panning focus, if that's even a word. But yeah, I mean, this lens performs really quite nicely, it seems. Those waves coming in. So it's a bit windy out there. Yeah, the lens performed very well actually. Well, so what I can see so far. Did a little bit of slow motion video with the waves crashing in and everything. Manual focus is not really a big deal. I've been using manual focus for years, mainly with the macro lenses. So what you tend to do is, if you're trying to get something that's close, you lock it to its minimum focus, and then you move in and out until you see the peaking, or you can actually physically see it's in focus. So that's how I kind of work on the closer stuff. When you're shooting into a distance, like the I think it was the air ambulance went over quickly, so I quickly focused on him, but I was making sure I was like at f8, so I quickly stopped the aperture down just to make sure I've got as much in focus as possible. It's in the air, you know, you're only going to see a few clouds and stuff possibly, so you know, to make sure that's in focus. The bus I actually shot at f1.8, moving target, but again the peaking really helped because it just highlighted the bus, and I was like, right, that's in focus, snap. What else? Crashing waves, it was like a bit of a broken breakwater, which was quite cool for the waves splashing over it and stuff like that in slow motion. That you can easily focus on, and yeah, it's all right. Just a quick stop really, because I'm literally going to visit my parents and give them a hand with something. But yeah, little video. Let me know what you think. Have you got any old lenses that you might adapt to use on your Sonys or your Nikons or your Canons or whatever you've got? Obviously this is an old Nikon lens, and I've got two others. I think one's a zoom lens, which is like a 28 to 75 or something like that, I can't remember. And the other one I think is a 28. I don't think it's a 24, I think it's 28 f2.8. One's not in brilliant condition, but then it might just add a bit of character to some of the photos, you know, stuff like that. So birds in flight, there wasn't much flying about, but now there's geese flying around everywhere, so I was going to try that, but as soon as I get the camera back out, I'm sure will bugger off. So yeah, that'd be another day, and to be honest, it's only a 105, so it's not a massive lens. Yeah guys, right, so I'll catch you later on.